What's going on, you guys? TBR here, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. In today's video, we have a lot of news to discuss. There is a new update coming our way on Thursday that we're going to be discussing in today's video, and then there's also a brand new developer's handbook over on the official forums that we'll talk about briefly in today's video, but we'll talk more about in depth tomorrow. We'll get into all that. But before we get into all that and more, make sure if you guys haven't already done so, you smash that like button and subscribe. And let's just go ahead and get into the news, because there's a lot of it. So first and foremost, there is a new developer's handbook over on the official forums. I will have a link to everything in the description. We'll talk about this in depth tomorrow, because this is pretty dense. There's a decent amount of information here, and being that there is so much stuff that we have to talk about today, I want to go ahead and just dedicate a video to this tomorrow. And considering that the update that we're going to be talking about today isn't going to even have a maintenance until tomorrow evening, we'll just save this for tomorrow. However, with that being said, one real quick thing, there is going to be a new coupon code. You get 2023 rubies, but this is only going to be active after the update that we're about to break down. So for those of you wondering, this will be your update right here as far as the coupon code. So just kind of keep that in mind. This is not active until after the update goes live, but KoFAS forever, and you get 2023 rubies once all the stuff we're about to talk about goes live. But with that being said, this can be found over in the developer handbook. Again, we'll talk about this and break all this down and go through all of this tomorrow, because again, there is quite a bit of it. So let's talk about the actual update that's coming our way. So this update, as I mentioned, is not going to have a maintenance until tomorrow evening. So if you guys take a look here, this is actually 6 p.m. tomorrow for me in Central Standard Time, so you guys will have to adjust accordingly for whatever time zone you're in. Suffice it to say, what this means is you will need to get all of your dailies done tomorrow early, because we are going to be getting an update with a maintenance, and it's going to be a pretty hefty one when it comes to what we're getting. So with that said, we know when we're getting this. Tomorrow night we will get a maintenance, but what are we getting with the update? So, as I'm sure you guys probably are well aware, we are due for EX Volume 9, which is going to feature Leona and Luong. So this right here, as far as characters or character choices are concerned, is definitely going to be fan service. This is a waifu banner if there ever was one. Leona is a hugely, wildly popular character in the fandom, and when it comes to Luong, she also actually, believe it or not, has a pretty decent following as far as waifus are concerned. So this is really, really cool. We're going to take a look at the trailer, but first I want to go through the rest of this stuff, and then we'll come back to the trailer and take a look at it. But first, let's just go ahead and take a look at what else is coming with the update besides the character choices here. So your waifus are going to be as follows. Leona is going to be modeled after KOF 15 Leona. She is going to be a blue element attack type, which is really, really good. And then Luong is going to be a green element attack type, and of course modeled after her KOF 15 counterpart. So that is what we are getting for characters. Again, we'll take a look at the trailer here at the end of the video. First, I want to go ahead and get through all the other information, because there's a decent amount of it. Other stuff in here, of course, we are going to be getting new cards. This is going to be the new banner set right here, as well as the new finishers for the characters and the option card. Beautiful artwork. In particular, I really like Leona's new finisher art. That looks really, really good, but Luong's looks really well done as well. And yeah, you can pretty much tell that this is waifu banner, so just from that art. But we'll just move on from that. I'm not going to get too deep into the weeds on that one. As far as event card sets, we are going to see this card set here as an event card set, I believe in the Rush Dungeon, so we'll take a look at that when we get there to the in-game event notice. But those are going to be your cards this time around, right? So with other things here, of course, the cards are going to have the different effects that we can get on them, like we're normally used to, either attack, critical hit, or skill. So go figure, not anything too crazy there. We do get a look at the special effects for the character's finishers. As you can see, Leona's is going to have increased critical rate by 15% for 10 seconds after using it. And when it comes to Luong's, we are going to have increases critical damage by all teammates, including self, by 15% for 10 seconds after using the skill. Is Luong going to be a support character? Time will tell. Chances are looking pretty good. So with that said, we get a look at the banner itself. The art looks really good, like I mentioned. In particular, I guess I'm just kind of jaded with Leona at this point because I feel like we've gotten so many of her, even though I really like Leona, so I have no issue with that. But I really like Luang's art here. It stands out. You know, you've got the cherry blossoms in the background. At least I'm pretty sure that that's what that is. But with that said, it does look really, really good. So I like what we're seeing here with the art. As always, the art looks really good for the characters. Character choices, very, very good choices if they want to be able to sell these banners to people, because of course waifus sell. So there you have it, and there you are, guys. For all of you Leona and Luang fans out there, I know there have been a lot of people that have requested Luang in the past, so there you go. Have at it, right? So with that said, the clandestine operation banner is live again on Thursday. Basically, it's basically Wednesday evening into Thursday because of that maintenance schedule kind of bleeding in there. So that's what you guys will be seeing as far as a banner is concerned. As far as what else we're getting with the update, something that we have requested on this channel in particular quite often is a time attack renewal for these events. We have not had a specific time attack for these events in a very, very long time. This is something that I have wanted to happen again for a very long time, and it looks like Netmarble has actually listened to us, because we are getting a new stage in time attack. We're getting the time attack challenge casual, which is coming along with this. It looks like it is going to be a 2-zone time attack. There really isn't any information on what the rewards will be, but at the same time, to get time attack returning with these events as another side thing that we can do is a big, big win, because it has been a long time since we've had a specific time attack for these updates. So this is really, really nice to see return. So nice to see this here. Hopefully this is a sign of the times. And if you guys take a look here, this appears in casual mode every week during 226. So this is going to be a new time attack that is going to be around for a while. So we'll have to wait and see just kind of what all the details of it look like. But they do say it is the Ash edition. So interesting. I'm wondering if we're going to be seeing the KOF 15 version of Ash very soon, but I digress. Time will tell. But that's what we got there as far as what we can tell. Other things in here, we are going to be able to pick up the new cards in the exchange sets for the exchange cards. So that's pretty nice. Not anything too crazy there. Pretty much standard stuff. The cards are also going to be available in the weekly battle card dungeon. Not very interesting information because that's something that's pretty regular with any of these updates, so we'll move on. Imprint Stones, of course, we are getting new Imprint Stones for EX Volume 9. You're going to be able to pick these up, obviously, by building up the characters. So that is going to be that, as you guys can see there. Pretty cool stuff. And then, of course, we are going to be getting specific Moon and Star Stones for both of these characters as well, that you can get through Luang's crafting event. So pretty standard stuff besides the time attack so far as what we're getting here, but still very nice to see this stuff being implemented. Now, other things that are going to be coming with this update, we are going to be getting a little bit of a content improvement and system update. So as you guys can see, we're going to be seeing the image displays in the subscription shop change. I guess this is to make these a little bit more eye-catching for people. I will admit that the subscription packages, which are the best things in the secret shop, typically speaking, are usually buried in there. So it's nice to see that they are going to be updating that so that we have a better look at those. So that's going to be available once this update goes live. They're also going to be changing the currency display in the exchange shop. As you guys can see, this is going to change just a little bit here. So interesting stuff, not anything that is going to be life affirming or game breaking by any stretch of the imagination, but it's still nice to see all this stuff coming. So that is what we got there. Other things here, we're going to have the ability to sort the Fighter Prime memories menu. So this is something that, you know, isn't going to make or break the game again, but at the same time is a quality of life thing that is nice to see. So this is going to be something that'll be pretty nice as well. As you guys can see, the latest release Fighters Prime memories will be displayed on the top. So they're basically going to be in chronological order of release from newest to latest, right? So that's what you're getting there. Other things in here. As you guys can see, this is going to be the event tab, so pretty much shows you what we're going to be getting with this stuff. So there really is going to be a decent amount of stuff in here, but a lot of it's going to be in the in-game event notice that we'll talk about. I'm not going to go through this thing here, but you do have a table here that at least gives you a generalized idea, but we're going to break all this stuff down in the in-game event notice when we get there, just momentarily. Other things that are coming along, of course, they are going to try and capitalize on the waifus by giving us a bunch of packages. So we do have a bunch of packages incoming. I'm not going to get into those. If there's anything that is that interesting, controversial, or of note, I'll talk about it when we actually break down the update on Thursday. But right now, we'll just kind of skip that stuff because I don't want to get into the weeds with that stuff. It's always kind of harder to tell kind of the value proposition on this stuff when you're just taking a look at it without a price, right? So we'll talk about it when it all goes live. Other things in here, we are getting a new growth support box item lineup. I'm not going to talk about that in here because honestly, again, we're just going to wait for this stuff to go live. Special growth shop, again, more stuff we'll talk about once it goes live. I'm not going to get too deep into the weeds with that stuff today, again, because it's tough to tell exactly what you're looking at there sometimes, and I don't like to talk about that kind of stuff unless I have all the information in front of me. So the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway so far from this, besides waifus, is going to be the new time attack for the casual time attack, so that's going to be really cool. But again, character choices here, top notch from Netmarble, if they are trying to market properly, which they are. Good job, Netmarble. So other things in here, let's take a look. The in-game event notice. So this is going to give us a better look at all the in-game events that are coming along here. First up, we do have a new login bonus that isn't anything overly exciting. As you guys can see, you're going to get a bunch of items. Biggest things being these badge fragments so that you can use those in the new crafting menu. So that's what you're getting there. Not anything that we really need to write home about. Now, other things that are going to be in here, the new rush dungeon. This is right here. Pretty obvious what we're getting. Same old, not much to talk about. You're basically just going to be getting a 3-tiered rush dungeon. We already saw the card set art looks pretty good, but they do give us a look at the actual exchange shop here. So that's what we're getting this time around, guys. Not much to really talk about because rush dungeons are usually the exact same as normal. They are going to be bringing back the ability to skip ticket this with the new battle passes that they're going to be talking about towards the bottom of this post. So you will be able to do that as well. But overall, guys, same things apply as normal. You don't want to grind on this thing until the EX chapter stage opens up. So that's basically all there is to note there. Other things in here, we do have a new tower. So as you guys can see, the new tower is going to be available once this stuff goes live. And again, you will only be able to use the new characters on it, unfortunately. So all the different rewards that are going to be in here, of which we don't know what those are yet, are going to be locked behind this wall until you're able to get one of these characters, at which point you'll be able to play this thing. So that is that. Other things in here, we do have the new event codex, or at least a look at it. As I already mentioned, we saw the stones there, and those are going to be available in the event codex for building both the fighters. So that's what you're getting there. Other things in here is you, of course, are going to be able to see down here, you'll be able to get the prime memories for fully awakening either of the characters for the respective character themselves, as well as the deadly beauty token times 120 for the awakened tier 4, and then of course the stones again. So that's what we're getting when it comes to the codex. Standard stuff. The Lucky Spring 3-line bingo. This is just another bingo, really. As you guys can see, not much to talk about here. This is going to probably be structurally identical to what we've seen recently with these bingo events, so not much to write home about here. As you guys can see down here, you're going to be able to obtain the bingo tickets through the event mission of summoning one fighter one time. This includes the free ones, and from the spring mystery boxes obtained at a certain probability. We'll talk about those more here when we get further into this, because there is going to be a world drop tied to this as well. So that is going to be the bingo. Not much to talk about yet, because again, all these events tend to be very similar-ish to the last time that we had them, and there's very rarely a structural change to them that is really worth noting, right? So there's that. So with that said, other things in here, the Spring Lucky Box item list. This is what is going to be available in here, and there are going to be rubies, so that's really, really good. The rest of this stuff, not all that enticing, although it's always nice to see any of those things. However, the rubies are definitely going to be the big get from those. So this Spring Lucky Box item list, these lucky boxes, very, very nice. So other things in here, the Fighter Growth Support Roulette event. This is just another one of these little random roulettes they've been doing recently. There's really not a whole lot to talk about here because, again, it's just another roulette, but it is nice to see this. People will be able to get some extra XP capsules, which will be nice. So not anything really that's that overly crazy, but it's always nice to see that kind of stuff. Of course, you'll have your ads here that you can do, etc. So nice to see it, but not anything that is overly exciting. Now, when it comes to those spring mystery boxes in the world drop, we talked about this a minute ago. Let's get into the details of it. So we are going to get a new world drop with these spring mystery boxes. And as you guys can see, you're going to be able to pick these up from the Hall of Elements, the Battle Card Dungeon, the Advent Dungeon, the Epic Advent Dungeon, and League Match. So again, another world drop event. World drop events are nice. This time around, this one is actually looking pretty darn good, especially considering those spring mystery boxes, as we just mentioned. The lineup there looks really good if it has rubies in it, which it does. So I'm expecting this to be a very popular world drop event. It just comes down to, I guess, how many of these things drop, and then of course the rates on those boxes, because you have your RNG in your RNG in your RNG game. So RNG everywhere, but very nice to see the world drop coming back. It's something that you can actively do throughout an event, and it keeps you coming back, so that is very nice. Other things in here, we are going to see a new crafting event. Of course, this is where we're going to be able to get the Star and the Moonstone for the new characters, and the badges, of course. So again, pretty much standard stuff, just like we see with any of these updates. Other things, Battle Pass. As you guys can see, we are going to be getting new Battle Passes. This really isn't anything to write home about either, because again, battle passes are battle passes. We literally just had these recent ones that are going to be the support passes, and you guys saw that video, I'm sure. Wasn't very happy about the pricing structure on that. These guys here are probably going to be structurally similar to what we see with any of the updates, so I'm not going to get too deep into this, because again, battle passes are another thing like packages. I like to just talk about those when they go live, so we'll do that. But we are going to see the return of a new season of Chapter of Fight as well, which means 100 rubies per day, which is always very welcome. So that is what we got there. As you guys can see, this is going to be the new Battle Pass lineup, and as I mentioned, the auto clear feature for the Rush Dungeon will be featured, which is definitely going to be a thing. I'm not a big fan of it. I think it costs way too many skip tickets in an age where we're getting more and more world drop events, and I don't really think it's worth it personally. But that really just the value proposition of that feature comes down to what type of device and how you're playing the game, because honestly, some people, it's worth it just to not have to burn their device if they're trying to leave their phone or something on playing this game all night long or something like that. So I definitely see where it is useful for some people, but for me, I would just use the PC client and go from there. So that's just me. But with that said, this is going to be your event schedule, as you guys can see here. So we're basically going to be living with the vast majority of this stuff, it looks like, until about 3:15 or so, at which point we're going to start seeing stuff phased out. And then by the time we get to 3:22, we're going to see most of the stuff be gone. So that is what we got there. So that is pretty much what we're getting with the update, you guys. Pretty cool stuff overall. I do want to talk about the trailer though. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, turn my volume all the way down here, because Lord knows that it'll probably want to blow everybody's eardrums out. And we'll just take a look at this. I've only watched this once so far, so overall, I have not actually sat down and studied this yet. But at the same time, it did just go live a couple hours ago. So Leona's first up here. Again, I really like this card art. This card art looks really, really good. I think that this card art is, for whatever reason, very, I don't know, more detailed than normal. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just crazy, but maybe I just like this Leona. I don't know, but this looks really good. So I think that the card art for this one, as I mentioned when we were going through the update, I like it. But anyway, this is the new finisher here, as you guys can see. So that is what we are getting with this one. She has so many options, does Leona, in this game for 3PG finishers at this point, that unless you're somebody that's brand new to the game and missed them, you're going to have plenty of different options for her. So I don't think that it's that big of a deal to have this in here, but at the same time, it comes down to how long this thing is, how it operates, how it functions, etc. So we'll have to wait and see and compare it to some of the older 3PG finishers for her, but it does look pretty good. Overall, as a character, this character is going to have 6 skills, so I'm assuming that right here, as you guys can see, this is going to be like upgraded versions of the previous skills that we just saw. So just pay attention here. I'll let you guys see this again real quick. So you're going to notice that as you go through these and we get to the next set, when it changes over here, that these are basically just upgraded versions of what we just saw. So I'm assuming she's going to have an EX skill that is going to switch these, kind of like what we saw recently. I forget which character most recently had this EX skill, But basically, you pop it, and then it upgrades your other skills, and it lets you throw those out there for a limited amount of time as these versions of these skills, right? I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. We'll have to wait and see, though. They could have any number of different ways of implementing this. It's just something I noticed here. So she is going to have 6 skills. So, well, 3 skills, but technically 6. You guys know what I mean. But with that said, as you guys can see, we'll play them one more time. Again, it's basically just going to be the last 3 are an upgraded version of the first 3. So that's kind of what you're looking at there. Again, assuming that that's going to be part of an EX skill coming up for her. But you never know with the Netmarble, with their mechanics, could be something different. This is going to be her core skill. Looks pretty good as far as core finishers are concerned. Not much to write home about there. Her character model looks phenomenal. I really like this character model. The face looks really, really good. It's in the eyes. They did a really good job here. Sometimes their character models can come off as looking a little bit dead or robotic. This character actually does show quite a bit here in the face to me that tells me that they actually put in a lot of effort there as far as making her look good. And I think that they pulled it off. She looks very, very nice. So Leona fans should be very happy with her. Overall, Luong, on the other hand, looks like Luong. She looks good. I think they did a really good job with these models. They know that these waifus sell, right? They know Leona's popular. They know Luong is popular for certain reasons. So overall, I think that they did go the extra mile with the character models for these two, but hey, you know, maybe I'm just imagining things, but they both look very good. Finisher art for Luong. Is the finisher art for Luong. Again, people like this character for specific reasons most of the time, and yeah, this is going to be one of those banners where you're going to have a lot of people that are going to be very happy, if you know what I mean, with the character choices and the art chosen for these characters. But with that said, we have the 3PG finisher here, looking pretty good. This character, again, I do wonder if she's going to end up being a support. I would hate to see that because I would prefer for her to be her own character that can stand on her own 2 feet. But with that being said, she does look very, very good, and she does look pretty straightforward for the most part. We can go through and watch the 3PG one more time, but she does look pretty standard. Whereas with Leona, we had those extra skills to look at, and we could kind of theorize a little bit off of that on what was going on there. With her, pretty straightforward. She has her 3 skills, her core finisher, her 3PG, and that's pretty much it. Again, they're always going to hide things like dot animations, as well as, you know, hyper armor, super armor, etc. most of the time. So not a whole lot to derive from these trailers typically there, but this update does look like it is going to be pretty good. I'm overall pretty happy with what I'm looking at here. There isn't anything that causes me too much concern looking at it on paper, and there is going to be a return of a new time attack with this update, which will be very nice, and the character choices are characters that people will be happy about. And I think that that's the biggest thing. If you're going to churn out these updates with these banners constantly, at least choose characters that people like or care about, and they are doing that. So got to give them kudos where kudos are due on that. But overall, as far as most of the stuff with the update, it looks like another samey update for the most part, with some little things here or there to differentiate it. But I do like that there is some sort of progression to something different here. We have a world drop event that looks like it's probably going to be fairly rewarding depending on the mechanics of it and how it ends up working out. So I do have hope for this update to be better than the last few, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, you guys, again, we will talk about that new developer's handbook in tomorrow's video. There was just so much to talk about today that I wanted to go ahead and focus on the actual update information first, and then tomorrow we'll go ahead and break that down, because of course we do have a full 48 hours or so right now to wait for this update. So just wanted to kind of get that out of the way. But anyway, you guys, let me know in the comment section down below what you think about the EX Volume 9 update. If you guys are excited for it, if you're excited for the character choices, what you like or don't like about what they've shown us so far from this, because again, I do think that it looks like it's probably a small-ish step in the right direction. So you guys can let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Like, share, and subscribe on your way out, and until the next one, you all take care. Peace.
Continue.